I'm Mark Heinzman and welcome to my channel. Today I will be starting my review series for each individual episode of Birds of Prey by looking at the pilot. So the prologue sequence has a number of shots that I really like, such as the aerial shot of New Gotham City because I'm a sucker for how exaggerated and stylized it is. The shots of Batman confronting the Joker and coming into close physical contact with Catwoman. The shot of a young Helena Kyle by her mother's side as she's dying, to then witnessing what appears to be the Joker in disguise drop a knife and run away. Then rightfully she demands that somebody stop him. I can really feel for her, believe me. Some shots of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl because I really like how authentic and straight off the page her bat costume is. And lastly, the shot where Barbara, after she steps out of the shower, opens the door and gets shot and paralyzed by the Joker. It's a very traumatic moment for her. Then Helena goes to one of her court-order therapy sessions with Dr. Harleen Quinzel. It's an important scene that develops Helena's character because, well, for starters, Harleen marks the 7th anniversary of her mother's death. At first, Helena is unwilling to engage with her because, well, the subject of her family is difficult for her to talk about, and she can't reveal her dual life as the Huntress. And as a side note, it's mentioned that Helena was arrested for causing property damage while pursuing a criminal. Granted, this likely happened before she definitively became the Huntress. And Barbara, through her connections to the legal system in New Gotham, probably thanks to her father, probably helps soften Helena's sentence, I would imagine. Then Harleen asks Helena a pointed question about her father, Bruce Wayne, when she says, quote, "Your father is one of the wealthiest men in the country and you move in with a school teacher?" Then Helena replies in rather a dry fashion that, quote, "It wasn't exactly father knows best." She has no relationship with him. And it's also stated that Bruce himself doesn't even know that she exists. Then Helena talks about her relationship with her mother, Selina Kyle by the way, and how, quote, "funny, crazy, and dangerous she was." But then after her death, Helena says she, quote, "changed into someone that I wasn't meant to be." That's a very revealing and poignant line. And I think it implies that her mother was trying to prevent Helena from living the life of a costumed vigilante. She didn't want Helena to follow in her footsteps as Catwoman or her father's as Batman. Anyway, then there's the club scene where it's revealed that Helena, when she's not the Huntress, works part-time as a bartender. She's approached by Barbara to investigate the mysterious suicides of some businessmen who helped form a company called Phoenix Industries Incorporated. And what follows is a very interesting dialogue exchange between the two when Helena says, quote, "Doesn't it ever bother you? We spend all our time trying to save the city fighting crime lords and supervillains for what? Lousy hours, non-existent pay, no recognition, and traffic tickets?" And Barbara replies, quote, "That's the downside of having a secret identity, the secrecy." Now I want to break down the contrast between Helena and Barbara as characters. Helena is reluctant to be the Huntress. She's not motivated by justice. Like her mother, she's motivated by the thrill of the chase. Otherwise, being the Huntress is a coping mechanism. It's the way she deals with the loss of her mother and the absence of her father. And when Helena encounters a Phoenix executive named Larry Ketterly, who turns out to be the main villain that has the power to mentally manipulate people into committing suicide by exposing them to their worst fears and nightmares, we go inside Helena's mind where we see her exactly where she was, right down to the location and her appearance, when her mother died. She's being manipulated into committing suicide by stabbing herself in the heart with a butcher knife. And thankfully Barbara, with the help of Dinah's power, intervenes to dissuade Helena from doing so. I think it's meant to illustrate the existential dread that Helena has been living with, to the extent that suicide isn't completely out of the realm of possibility. Maybe she partly became the Huntress because subconsciously she had a death wish. But because of Barbara and now Dinah, she keeps living. She's a pulp crime fighter that's a very authentic character. She's relatable in a sophisticated and tangible way. Barbara, despite being paralyzed, and the possible loss of her father, we never see Jim Gordon, is still motivated by justice. During the day, she works as an English teacher at New Gotham High. By night, she fights crime through computer hacking and weaponry from her secret lair. At the New Gotham clock tower as Oracle. Her outlook on being a guardian of New Gotham can be best summed up when she says to Helena during the club scene, quote, "We do it because it's who we are." However, I do think there's a selfish and manipulative side to Barbara. In another one of Helena's therapy sessions, Harleen challenges Helena's relationship with Barbara by asking her, quote, "You say Barbara rescued you. Did she do that for you or for herself?" And while Barbara obviously cares for Helena and subsequently Dinah, you do have to wonder if subconsciously she's using them to vicariously relive her past as Batgirl. She even alludes to this at the end of the pilot when she says, quote, "I guess I never really let go of who I was before." There's a scene where Barbara sends Dinah to a hidden base at the docks, where she last appeared as Batgirl. And what follows is a series of flashback sequences that are very painful for Barbara to remember, because that was the night the Joker killed Helena's mother and paralyzed Barbara, essentially ending her life as Batgirl. She even talks about how all of that caused Batman to have a mental breakdown and disappear from New Gotham. It doesn't help that she's recounting all of this to Dinah, who's still a minor. Granted, she may not be any other minor, but Barbara is still essentially putting Dinah at risk to do what she, herself, isn't physically capable of doing anymore. Regardless, she's a very compelling character in her own right. Anyway, now I'm going to break down what I specifically like about the pilot. I like the introduction to Detective Jesse Reese because it establishes that he's already thinking outside the box in contrast to the rest of the New Gotham Police Department, as he's the only one that detects something suspicious about these apparent suicides. I really like the hero shot of Helena's introduction as the Huntress along with her costume, and the subsequent fight scene she has with some guy looking to terrorize Dinah. It's just a visceral and acrobatic fight scene that is well choreographed. I like the scene where Helena investigates the apartment of one of the Phoenix executives, only to find him hanged to death, because I like how it's shot in a very noir-like fashion. I really like the secret lair on top of the New Gotham clock tower where the Birds of Prey operate. I especially like how it looks at night, along with the shots of Barbara being surrounded by green holographic screens while she's using an interactive map. I really like the flashback sequences of Barbara as Batgirl, where she's at the hidden basement located at the docks, because it's shot in a very dark and atmospheric fashion. And the shots of her and Batman fighting the Joker's henchmen are very well choreographed. Anyway, I think I've made the case for the pilot episode of Birds of Prey, and you should definitely check it out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.